And then I played that song Danny Nedelko, which is about the singer from Idol's friend who's like an immigrant, and like it's like a really great punk song. Like
Speaking of, let's talk about the episode because we haven't yet, but we could talk about last week. Wasn't great. I don't think the post-comedy thing was a great idea. Not funny.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't funny, no.
But this week I think we have the opportunity to do something maybe a little more meaningful.
Okay, like
especially like what happened the past week. Like, why aren't we talking about politics? Why can't we take Brett Kavanaugh down a peg?
Because we're like not very good at politics. We're not very political.
We're really political. Our most popular episode is the alt-right one.
Did that get the most views?
It got the most views. I mean, not views we necessarily wanted, but
no. I mean, yeah, because like you got doxxed. Like you put alt-right in the title, and then you got doxxed by the alt-right, and then they like called you. You had to change your number, and then Sacha Baron Cohen called you.
Yep.
Then,
so let's try to do another one that's better. You can have you play like an old racist guy. You're good at that. You look the part.
I don't want to do that.
What
does that
mean? You look. I don't. You look like you should be racist. So we'll do that. It'll be a fun one this week.
It's.
You're like a Gavin McInnes type. Maybe you could play Bannon again. This will be great. People are going to hate you.
Warning. The show you're about to see contains material unsuitable for children and questionable among most adults. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to America's favorite New York's favorite new political talk show, late night talk show. Welcome to the special without Brett Davis. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause. Hot crowd tonight. Are you people ready for some political comedy tonight? Well, I know I am. First up, let's give it up for the entirely volunteer orchestra and Simon Haynes. It was a great tune. It went a little long.
Sorry. The TV timing is still kind of confusing to me. So as a composer, I'm trying to speak my mind, but as a member of this team.
This is also taking too long. My usual co-host, Darren, he is off on assignment, learning some magic tricks because he wasn't able to pull one off last week. But we might see someone that looks a little like him later on in the show. So if you're just tuning in, this is our third season. Last week we kicked it off. I tried to make the show a bit more mature. I'm around 30. I feel like we were doing sort of like sketch comedy, it was in dumb costumes and stuff. But last week I thought, why don't I make the show better, more mature? But I made a mistake. I tried to make it cool. I tried to have like, you guys, well, you didn't do a great job, but you had talented musicians with you.
I did what I could with what I was given.
You didn't do a great job. And you know, we were trying to do a post-comedy thing, and you know, Chris Rock said, cool is the enemy of comedy, so we're abandoning that direction. But Bill Maher once said, We need more people speaking out. This country's not overrun with rebels and free thinkers. It's overrun with sheep and conformists. Now, for everyone that expressed hope that the special would be more political, your prayers have been answered. I have spent the last week doing a deep dive on late night comedy, and I watched it nonstop. I think I could do better, so let's get into it. This is not my water, so I'm just gonna.
I can take that up.
Yeah, would you mind?
Sure. I'm so thirsty. This is great. Okay, thanks.
If you have a cell phone, and who doesn't, you probably got a call or a text alert at 2:18 today with a presidential alert that probably loudly buzzed and beeped right in the middle of your workday. It read, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." That was a presidential alert. Great. Now Putin can text everybody all at once. Yeah, I went there. If you're just joining us, this is the special without Brett Davis. I am Brett Davis, so it's with me, but I gotta say, it's a bad week to be a Brett. This week, we're still feeling the impact of the Senate Judiciary Committee's investigation of sexual assault claims against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, or as I like to call it, Beer Summit 2018. This week, at a rally to restore insanity, Donald Trump mocked rape victim Dr. Christine Blasey Ford for supposedly not remembering every minute detail about a traumatic event that happened to her in the mid-'80s. Now, this is honestly... it's heinous, it's disgusting behavior that shouldn't be tolerated. This is not normal. This is not how politicians should act, and we need to stand up and fight, at the very least, for common decency against this administration, which brings us to our first segment, Police! Now it's time for Police. Donald Trump, Police. You're making fun of someone for not remembering little details. Need I remind you, you were the one that forgot that you were standing right next to your wife, Melania, when speaking to victims of Hurricane Irma. Melania was standing right there next to you. Police. You know, I wish Melania could be here. Oh wait, we hired a fake Melania for the event. We hired a Trump voice. Right? Pretty good. I think it's always great if you're doing comedy about Trump to just do his voice, sort of like tack it on at the end. Trump voice. I do a great Trump. Give me a hand. You forgot the words to the national anthem and God Bless America, and you just kind of mouthed along like you were listening to Despacito. Covefito. Yeah, I went there. Trump. Pick your moments. Trump voice, Trump face, please, President Trump. Why don't you leave the comedy to the comedians like me? The only time you were ever funny was when you hosted Saturday Night Live, which I will admit you were very, very funny on that show. Honestly, it was a great episode, one of the best of the season. You had some amazing jokes. It was fun to see you interact with Daryl Hammond's Trump, who plays it a little differently than me. And it's also cool that you can poke fun at yourself, and that's kind of charming. I can't wait for your inevitable meeting with Alec Baldwin's portrayal of Donald Trump, which I hope happens, this season on the show. But the credit for that will all go to the completely wonderful Emmy Award-winning writing staff of SNL. You're attacking a survivor of sexual assault, and that's punching down. You know, punching down, kind of like what you do when you can't get it up for Melania? Yeah, I went there. Pick your moments.
That was a moment.
Yeah, like you do for Melania, or should I say Stormy? Or should I say Ivanka? I gotta get it up to fuck my fucking daughter! Trump voice. I also photoshopped the graphic you see here. Then you have the gall to say, this is now a scary time for young men. Please, you're a man. How many times have you been sexually assaulted? And I'm not talking about the times you punch yourself in the dick when you try to fuck your daughter. I love my daughter. Trump voice. You're trying to change the narrative to make men the victims because bad behavior is coming back to bite you in the ass. Scary time for men? Please. It's scary for everybody, especially when you have to look at that knocked over beehive that you have on your fucking head. Yeah, I went there and I dropped an F-bomb. I feel like any second that thing's gonna shoot bees out and they're gonna attack Macaulay Culkin in the movie My Girl. Again, timing off. It would have been solid if you saw the punchline.
Okay,
Please. You think that thing looks presidential? Please.
And that was an edition of Police with Brett.
Now it's time for Jokes Brett Can't Tell. I mean, Jokes Brett Won't Tell, with our very own Mr. Jokes, Steve Whalen!
Oh my, I love this crowd. Give it up for yourselves. Special left, Brett Davis. Thank you very much. Thank you. All this talk about political humor, I mean, now we all know Mr. Jokes leans pretty far to the left. Yeah, especially after 10-cent wing night. Oh, there we go. Okay, cut. One more for safety. Come on, Chucky. Thank you.
What are we doing?
Thank you. Okay, I just have to do another one for safety. All right, thank you.
We're live.
No, it's for the documentary. We've been doing this subplot for 2 weeks. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay.
One week.
Well, whatever. You know what? I lost it. All right, thank you very much. This will be a special bonus feature. All right, I love this crowd. Thank you.
Mr. Jokes, making a documentary. Now, I think we all saw in the news this week that a Democratic senator came under fire. We all heard the allegations. Now, on this show, I like to think of myself as an equal opportunity offender. And, you know, if even someone that's on Team Dem has a history of inappropriate behavior and, you know, reports that he's a pro-life Democrat, I think that means we should take him to task too. So I decided to sit down with this Democratic senator at his favorite restaurant and get to the bottom of this. Let's take a look. Cheers.
Yeah, good grilled chicken.
Thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with me and chat. It's an honor to be in your presence.
You know, this is the food that I eat, so
Yeah.
I'm real happy to be here with you.
You've been making some headlines recently, and I wanted to talk to you about these allegations.
I obviously completely reject the notion that I've had any misdoings with people or institutions or whatever the charges are specifically, but I will say this. This is an important time for Democrats everywhere to focus on what the task is at hand. And the task isn't whether I'm completely ignoring a large swath of Democrats nationally by allowing or endorsing any type of liberal progressive. No, the real issue is to resist. And I like to view myself as the resistor in chief.
I'll tell you what I do. I represent my constituents, and I represent them very well.
No
I
need for you to
reply to
answer
them
the
on
question.
Twitter.
There's no
I
need
reply
for
to
you
them on
to ask
Facebook,
the
and I am a
question.
representative of the people.
Just don't question us, please. Don't run candidates against us that might hurt us a little bit. The Cortez lady, I love her. She's great. She's great.
It's a wrench in the plans. You're not looking at it piece by piece. You're looking at the whole puzzle.
I want to be fighting one guy. I don't want to be fighting all the people that I'm supposed to be telling them what to do, you know? So it puts me in a weird place.
So you've been getting some more time in the spotlight. You've been appearing on late night shows. I'm dying to know, what's it like to be in a Funny or Die video?
Well, let me tell you. These are all young kids, you know, 30s, 40s, young guys making these movies, these little skits. And, you know, they say, Senator, we want you to do a rap parody video of I Love It, the new Kanye West Lil Pump song. So they put me in a little, one of those, little box suits, and they make me dance around. And I got to tell you, I didn't know what I was doing. And my aides told me, please don't do this. This is very bad. But everyone was smiling and laughing at me. And I'm of the age now where I can only react to very, very generic but specific praising emotionality. So when people smile at me, that means I'm doing a good thing. When people laugh at me, they must like me. So he did the Lil Pump video. There's millions of views on YouTube. Apparently we're trying to get it taken down, but it was a lot of fun, and I'll do it again if Funny or Die will have me.
I gotta say, I saw the video, and I'm a big hip-hop fan. You got some mad skills.
Thank you, my brother. I live in Brooklyn. Let's just say that. I live in Brooklyn. And I know all about this community and these people, and I'm very aware of the people I'm representing and the people I'm fighting for. I know
the concrete jungle where
you go to have fun, and that's what I'm having, is fun.
So, I got to the bottom of it. He has my vote, and I have his autograph. Please donate to Senator Brooker's campaign at his Facebook page, or you could also watch his new Facebook Live show, I Can Has Senator, where he talks to social media influencers about the hottest memes of the day. Check it out. Now it's time to some other influencers that we've got here. They have been called by Pace the vulgar, brilliant demigods of the new progressive left. Please welcome Chapo Trap House. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us. On the special.
Yeah. Sorry if some of these jokes were a little, touchy, but I think this kind of falls in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. No, as you said, we're very vulgar.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be here with all you cunts.
Yeah. I'd just like to apologize. This sort of thing might happen. Just kind of raise your comfort level. Or, like the Comedy Store or the Comedy Cellar said, leave. Thank you so much for being here. So if people are unfamiliar with what Chapo Trap House is, give me a brief synopsis. Like, let's say you're at Vice HQ and Shane walks in. What's your elevator pitch?
I'd say that it's Pod Save America on crack.
Okay.
I'd call it more Howard Zinn, but meeting Howard Stern.
All right.
I would say to Shane, please, can I stop dancing for you now?
Yeah. You can't though. That's the thing. But I truly wish you luck if that's an avenue you're looking for. So on this show you talk about politics. Where would you say, in layman's terms, you fall on this spectrum?
Virgil, you want to carry that one off?
Well, we're definitely on the spectrum. I would say I fall more on the left side of the spectrum.
I would say we are on a diesel engine going to the left of the Democratic Party and then entering an Otis elevator that takes us above, standard non-ideological centrism.
Okay. And you're passing.
I'm not on the spectrum, actually. I transcend the spectrum.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I have a nephew that's also on the spectrum. He's the same. same words. We will be talking about some heavy political topics. So one thing, I watched a lot of late night comedy shows, but I also watched Ellen. So I thought one thing that's fun that she does is just kind of breaks into like a dance party. So like if something gets a little heavy, Simon, if you could take a cue, can you just kind of jump into dance party music?
Right now?
Well, when I say Ellen.
Okay. Just the word Ellen, or in a sentence?
I'll say the word Ellen. If you hear Ellen, dance break. If I say Yellen, no dance break.
What are the chances that you're going to say Yellen?
Why do you think your show struck a chord now? Do you think 5 years ago it would have had the same impact?
Honestly, no. I don't think it would have taken off 5 years ago. I think we were just in the right place at the right time, and by that I basically mean we started doing the show right around the time of the 2016 Democratic primary, when the sort of Hillary-Bernie dichotomy was becoming pronounced.
And Drumpf.
Him too. I think 5 years ago, with Obama, I think most people were happy to just be liberals and have the good guy in charge.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't have even thought of doing any kind of comedy show before Benghazi happened, because that's what really opened my eyes and made me realize that I had to get involved.
I'd say 5 years ago, there were much the same economic conditions, much the same energy that you have today, but it wasn't really channeled anywhere. You didn't really have any iconic politicians on a national stage saying the sort of being very critical of the Democratic Party from the left. And as well as Will points out, you still had this veneer that the good people were in charge, even if there were many things you could be critical about with the Obama administration. You didn't think, okay. You thought he kept a lid on the evilness at the core of society.
So what inspired you? Was there a single moment that said, we need to be the voice? And did you think you'd be a voice for such a large audience? Because we have a pretty large audience. We hit like 500 views a week on this thing. But your Patreon, and that's just the people that are paying, is about 3 times more successful than any other podcast. So why do you think that is, and did you expect it to happen like that?
When we started doing it, I honestly expected it would be something that would be enjoyed by maybe like 3, at most, like a couple dozen people that we follow on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Name them.
You've got Dan K. MTL. You've got Trillburn. You've got Brian Quimby and Brett Payne. You've got.
You gave me 2 names real fast. Keep going.
I wanted to be funny for Dan K. Montreal.
Okay.
That was about it.
I was just hoping for some more Twitter followers. I had a very low number, and I was thinking, that podcast, that'll work.
Hey, make a direct plea right now.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, folks. That's good stuff.
You have to say the name, so else they're not going to know.
Yeah, sorry, twitter.com.
It's your name, your username.
Oh, right, yeah. You'll figure it out.
What do you think about the podcasting landscape right now? Like, I'll put it this way. Fuck, marry, kill. Pod Save America. Sam Cedar, Majority Report. Cumtown.
Okay, this is easy. Fuck Cumtown, marry Sam Cedar, kill Pod Save America.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, Cumtown, how could you not fuck them? There's so much cum.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much cum.
But they're not marriage material.
You've got Nick Mullen. He's a gym rat. He's got a mustache, very handsome. You've got Stav, an Epicurean, a guy who enjoys all the pleasures of life. And then you have Adam, who's sort of the intellectual. Sam Cedar, absolute marriage material.
Yeah,
That's a guy
Sam's the one you end with.
That's the guy you can count on, after you've ran through Nick, Stav, and Adam.
But you won't appreciate him unless you've kind of tasted.
Exactly. And then kill Pod Save America. I mean, that should be obvious. It's because they deserve to die.
Okay. Now they've got their own TV show. You've got your own book, a guide to revolution.
That's it.
And where do you see this growing? Is it stop at the book? Happy with the podcast, or do you have bigger plans?
I think it's when we all sort of start our own sort of compound in Maine or some other rural part of the country that becomes sort of a podcast incubator and cult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it all ends with a standoff with the FBI.
This is a very mild applause for that. That, like, some people were like, yeah, I'll join a cult.
Sort of like, Heaven's Gate, but we're not going to kill ourselves on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get to keep your dicks, folks.
If you like your dicks, you can keep them. That's our motto.
Ellen? Yeah, come on. Yeah, just get into it. Okay, great. Our apologies if we're being watched by any of the people that are any families affected by the suicides of the Heaven's Gate cult. Let's get into your fan base. It's come under fire a little bit. Some people say you have a sexist fan base. You're a bunch of mostly dudes and on the show. How do you respond to that, especially when you do kind of deal with vulgarity?
First of all, that's a typo. It's a sexy fan base.
Sexy fan base.
Yeah.
And then, please also give me advice about how to avoid that.
Well, the thing is, when you have a fan base that's under fire, you want to be above them, aiming at them with your fire.
Okay, so you're the one that's starting the fire. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to keep them in their
sort of
place.
looking at them through a telescope lens of some kind from like the concealed vantage point, ideally. If you've got, a sort of bro-ish, sexist fan base.
Okay.
You've got to keep them disciplined. You got to keep them in their place. Piss on them, essentially. And they love it. That's the thing about them.
You're a bit more militaristic. You're sexual about it.
No, it's about
Punish them
domination
sexually.
and control. It has nothing to do with sex. It's just a pheromone release.
Do you think this is a fair criticism? How do you feel about it?
I feel like if you have that impression of us personally or the show or our fan base, like I don't feel that's something I need to strenuously defend against. It's probably not entirely wrong, but it's probably not. I think it's probably exaggerated. But like I don't feel the need. Like if you look at us and you're like, well, these are just guys and they're being bro-ish and immature or whatever. I can't say that I can muster too much of a defense of myself in that regard.
Ellen. Thank you. Again, apologies to anyone that's watching. That was a very Cosby show themed sounding song, so trigger apology, I guess. You talk about dominance. There's the whole bend the knee thing that kind of came up, which, Simon, bend the knee for them. I can't. It's not how you do it.
Yeah, that was the Captain Morgan.
I mean, cool. That was cool, but yeah. How much do you think that plays into politics today?
Dominance?
Yeah. Or,
Well, I
mean, the macho kind of posturing.
Well, I don't know if it's so much macho posturing, but at the end of the day, politics is about power and who has it and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, the bend the knee thing was, I think, willfully and intentionally misread to be about some kind of, we're telling women to literally get on their knees when I think we were...
You were talking to moderates.
I mean, like the point
talking about the rupture in the party that emerged after 2016 and the idea that these old establishmentarians with more moderate centrist capitalist values should not be in control of the party that is majority sympathetic to socialists.
But I just sat down with a senator, and he was a really nice guy. He does Funny or Die videos. He's definitely got a sense of humor about himself.
What is Funny or Die?
So in 2005, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay had a dream. You would like this actually because it was the will of the people that said what was funny or what died, and then they started
die like.
Well, then the video would just kind of disappear. Thanks, Simon. Again, your moments. It would die. It would fall out of favor, and but then they started getting all this good money from advertisers and stuff, and then they fired everybody, and now they make videos with politicians.
Very cool.
Yeah. So how are you gonna eat that?
I think Funny or Die is a great model for the Senate.
Okay. I think it's important that these politicians do kind of show off their skills on a comedic stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they don't, there's penalties.
Which would be?
I mean, what's the website's name? I'm not going to say it.
Funny
I don't
or
want to
Die?
visit from the Secret Service.
Well, if you wouldn't mind sticking around, we're going to have a little disquisition in just a bit.
Let's go.
Emphasis on the dis.
Let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going there. But first, I want to throw to our musical guests tonight, playing songs from their upcoming album, Brain Pills. Please welcome Youth Expire.
Hey there.
Gloomy Gus.
Hey.
How are you?
How's it going? Simon.
Simon, I'm Dale.
Pleasure to meet you, Dale. I've heard
Pleasure
about you.
to meet you,
People are
too.
talking about you.
Well, people are certainly talking about you,
Oh.
but I think they should be talking about you more.
Oh, God.
I love what you do.
Tell my mom that. She would love to hear that.
Well, I'd be happy to. How are you feeling? I get the sense, from your energy, that things you've been low. Maybe something's frustrating for you.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time dealing with the expectations I had about the show before it happened, and now I'm here. Things are different than I maybe had expected, and I'm feeling a blockage about that. Really.
Gosh, well, that can really make you feel low,
It does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just
It
down
hurts.
in the dumps.
Yeah, it's just tense in here.
Especially for a musician. We're
Yeah, and
sensitive people, aren't we?
Exactly. You're a musician as well.
Sure,
Of
I
course.
dabble
Great.
a little bit.
We should jam sometime.
Oh, I'd love that.
Awesome.
Now, listen, is there anything that you could do that would just kind of lighten things up for you? Which it doesn't have to be associated with the show at all. Just even getting out of here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to get out of here and travel, but I've kind of made a commitment to be here.
Travel. Is that a passion of yours?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to travel everywhere,
think you
anywhere I
should
can
do
go.
it. I think you should
Cultures,
do it.
different. Really?
Have you ever just picked up and gone somewhere?
No, I usually, usually I
Yeah.
try to plan.
You get stuck and then it doesn't
Yeah.
happen, then
Then
you
it
put
never
it off.
happened. Yeah,
Now's
exactly.
the time, Simon.
Wow.
What about that?
That's an amazing idea.
It is. Look
Oh.
at this smile. Look at this.
Stop it.
I haven't seen
Stop.
that in a while.
Oh my God! Wow, thank you so much for your advice. I don't
Absolutely.
even think Brett would notice, honestly, if I left for.
Well, we'd all notice.
I appreciate
The
that.
Simon heads would notice.
Again, you have to
You
talk to
know.
my mom because she was a little anxious. When
I
she
look
found
forward to this. She sounds like a wonderful woman.
Next time she's in town.
She should be very proud. Simon, I can't wait to see what you
Dale.
do. And enjoy your travels,
Thank you
man.
so much.
Will you
Dale.
send me
Wow.
pictures?
Yes, absolutely. You've turned this around for me. Thank you.
I'm so glad.
Thanks, Dale.
No audio?
Just got audio. Sorry, everyone. I'm gonna do it. I did it.
Simon, welcome back to the show. This is the special without Brett Davis, the newest, hottest late night talk show. Move over, everyone. I want to welcome our next guest. Comedians are the new philosophers. And we've got a comedian right here, and the only comedian I know with Ron Paul in their name. Please welcome Sharron Paul. Thank you for being on the show. Now we've kind of shifted things a little bit. So tell me a little bit about your comedy. You host a show called Cheap Date.
I do. I do host a show called Cheap Date. It's 8 years old. It's at Union Hall over in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of stuff do you talk about on stage?
I talk about my life. Some of it political, some of it personal, all of it absurd.
Now this is a question I feel bad asking you, but I have to. How is it doing comedy in the age of Trump?
Necessary.
Necessary.
Yeah, people need a distraction every so often.
Mm-hmm.
So, got to make people feel better.
And it's so easy. Like this guy.
There's funny
tons
stuff
of material.
all the time.
It's actually, good. I know everyone says it, but they're right. It's good that he was elected for comedy. I also want to introduce someone else to be part of this panel. He is the, quote, bad boy of the far right, formerly of the now defunct humor website Streetards, and now the admin of the white shitposting Facebook page. Please welcome hipsterism's racist grandpa, Calvin Maddox. Come on.
Motherfuckers.
Come on, everybody deserves a voice.
What's up, bro? Found it, bro. I like them glasses. Cool glasses on this guy, huh? Did we used to party at Chapo Trap House 2005, me, you, and Top P? Those early real estate gigs?
I think it's Santos Party House.
What the fuck ever. We got laid though, right? Am I right, my brother? All right, brotherhood. How my brothers over here doing? All right.
Well, thanks for joining us. I want to introduce a new segment. We've got a panel of guests, wildly different opinions. It's time for Disquisition. In this segment, all these different beliefs, all of these different opinions, they're just ripping into each other, bumping into each other. It's intellectual debate meets wilding out. And again, the Ellen rule does apply. So we've got the Pep Boys of Podcasting, Chapo Trap House, the Walking Talking Jackass. Sorry. You like that?
You got your start with me, Brett. Don't you remember?
Well, yeah.
He was a PA for my, when we used to do bum fights. It was like a fight club, but for hobos, homeless people, the lazy in America. You guys know a lot about that, right?
And I thank you for that.
Being lazy, that's for sure.
I thank you for that first opportunity. And woman comedian, Sharron Paul.
That is factual.
Comedian. Sorry. And you know what? Just to get it a little crazy, let's welcome a senator that I'm a big fan of. Please welcome Warren Brookers. Yeah. Come on, everybody. He's here.
Thank you. You want me to die?
It's good to see you again, Senator.
Can I tell you something? I heard the pre-interview, and these guys want me to funny or die. And can I have my camera real quick? Thank you. As the senator, as the face of the revolution, which is what I am, I want to tell these boys over here that they better get in line, because these little boys, they hurt my friend Joe Crowley very badly. These little boys had the Cortez lady on the show, and she hurt a very hardworking, good man in Congress that we desperately needed votes for, and now we have this crazy Cortez lady in the Congress that I have no control over. So I just want to start it off. Thank you again for inviting me. I'm viral, is what it's official. I'm viral, and make sure you like and subscribe to my Facebook page and all of my Instagram accounts.
And also subscribe to White Ship Posting on Facebook.
Senator, I gotta be clear. I really only wanted you to die in a spiritual sense, but then I saw that the Kanye West video parody you did, and it's no longer superfluous.
Those are pretty big words for a little tiny man. And I'd like to see you on the floor of the Senate with those words, because it's kind of different there than behind your gold-plated earmuffs and your microphones. We are men and women of the Senate that make decisions, and we make the country better because we've been doing such a good job at it, of course. So you just watch your tongue and save it for the podcast.
Did you say you don't have microphones in the Senate?
Huh? What?
Did you say you don't have microphones in the Senate?
I'm not sure the technology of the Senate. When I started there were no microphones, and now that we have little, they're kind of clips that go in there. They might allow us to be heard better, but I'm not a techie guy, but I am on social media.
Are you on Tinder?
Huh?
Tinder?
I'll light a fire wherever the fire is needed. And I'm lighting a fire for the Democratic Party. I am the youthful face of the hashtag resistance against this Cheeto monster, right? Mr. Wario, yeah, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, this guy. He's a bad one. And we're gonna get him, finally. We'll get him, now we'll get him. You say blue wave, it's a blue tsunami, everybody.
I think that's very insensitive to the people of Indonesia, and I'd like you to apologize for it right now.
Well, we're in America right now, Chapo.
Yeah.
You know, this is what disquisition is all about. I noticed, I remember before when I said emphasis on the dis, like kind of like, sort of like,
Very hip.
yeah, like a roast battle sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's already going great. So let me start with this. You just mentioned the blue wave.
The blue tsunami!
Midterms are coming up. Do you think there's going to be a blue wave?
Sure, the Democrats are poised to do very, very well, but many of the decisions by the Democratic Party establishment are hamstringing them, and one that's really important right now is Senator Bob Menendez in New Jersey. Every member of the Democratic establishment supported him for re-nomination.
disparage my good friend Bob.
Just barely acquitted in this lurid corruption scandal.
But he
And now-
was acquitted, and we have laws in this country, law and order.
Yeah.
And if you follow the laws, you might see that Senator Menendez broke no laws. So what other constitutional amendments do you
I
wanna
agree with this
wipe your
man.
ass?
I agree with this
Wait, what happened to hashtag resistance?
Huh?
What happened to hashtag resistance?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
Don't you apologize to her.
I'm sorry.
Don't you apologize to her.
Please.
You should join so I'm a founder of a new organization called Amdram.
How much?
It's American Dreamers. Dreamers for Americans.
I only
And
have one
It's a
question.
loaded title.
How much
It's a loaded
money
title.
do you have?
We do well. We do well. We do okay.
And that's all.
We got a lot of Bitcoin and precious metals.
What kind of initiation ceremony are we talking about if I wanted to, pledge Amdram?
It's like an awful waffle,
Not familiar
but
with that.
with your butt.
I saw this on Facebook Live. They all slap each other's breasts and say different brands of waffles that they really like.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like name five.
Eggo waffle.
Name your 5 favorite waffles
Mini
while we
Eggo
slap your
waffle.
butt. And then that's the first stage of the initiation.
Belgian waffle.
Belgian waffle.
Yeah,
That's white culture.
yeah, that's it. That's what we're talking about.
We're having fun.
I will say, Sharron, kind of, you called him out for, the revolution. I think a big part of the revolution is reaching across the aisle and working together in the middle. Right?
As a moderate?
Yeah, moderate. Moderate revolution.
I love the sound of that. I love that. A very slow, snails-like pace towards a little tiny
Thank
bit
you, yes.
of progressive values, but just a little bit. You could say the Democratic platform is to promote progressive values at a conservative pace. That's my hashtag. That's my hashtag, by the way. I'm hashtagging that right now, so follow it.
Tsunamis move swiftly. Remember that
I'm
much.
sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. Yes, they are. They do move swift. I'm sorry. Please, please, please give me your money.
It's a bad week to be a Brett. Oh, wait, I did that. Supreme Justice nominee Brett Kavanaugh's rowdy college days were looked into, and it revealed that he got into a fight after a UB40 concert. Is UB40 a good band? Who's your favorite white reggae band, if not?
Snow.
Naturally, I'll start with Calvin.
Long Beach Dub All Stars. I think they're good. Also, 311's early work. Does No Doubt count because I kind of like them.
No Doubt
Gwen
counts.
Stefani. Gwen Stefani is a classic hottie. Can we say that anymore in America? Can we say it anymore, America? No. Fuck you.
Can we say that anymore?
Classic hottie Gwen Stefani, as much as I hate to agree with him on anything, I fully agree on his music taste as far as white reggae is concerned.
So do I.
Good. Chapo, you had opinions.
I said snow.
Okay.
Yeah, informer.
Yeah, that's the Chapo choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Snappo.
Group think right here. That's liberal group think.
You listen to Informer and tell me I'm wrong.
Holds up. Holds up well.
We've had big tobacco. We've had big pharma. Who's the new big? Who's bad now? Who's bad now? Chapo, I'll start with you guys.
Big podcasts.
Big podcasts.
Yeah, people have gathered together to say we're not going to take it anymore, and they're taking us all down.
But you're a big podcast. Have you lived long enough to see
We're being
yourself-
assaulted from below. It's awful.
Oh, okay. So you're saying pro-big.
Yes.
Pro-big. I see.
Yes.
I'll be talking with the senator after the show about how they can, maybe loosen up some of the regulations that govern Patreon, for instance. It's an awful,
It's a good idea. We can
it's an
agree
awful
on that.
cartel that's, been, stealing money from us for years now. And I think, maybe we could find some common ground
We'll
there.
have a discussion about how money gets regulated. And if it's a format in which I can get more money, then we will no longer regulate it. This is the position of the Democratic platform, and that's actually true. What was that?
Again, Simon, pick your moments. Give it up for Simon and the band. Sorry. Give it up for the band. You're a woman. Who's bad now for women?
Just about everyone.
I think women are doing pretty good today. It seems like the real war is against young men, as our president, the Donald, said today.
Yeah, let's get into this. Where does he have
That's
a
about
point?
as deep as my opinions go.
Fair enough, we'll move on. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos announced this week all Amazon and Whole Foods workers starting next month will receive a $15 per hour minimum wage. But recent reports of inhumane working conditions at Amazon warehouses show that there's still much to be done to increase workers' rights. Is this a good move for Amazon?
No, absolutely not. If you have the minimum, you guys probably want a $30 minimum wage, right?
At least 30.
How are you going to get to the top if you don't start at the bottom? So the lower the bottom is, if you think about physics, that every reaction has an equal reaction. I went to community college. You start real low, you end up real high. So this is all it's just cultural Marxism.
I have a question. Can we?
What is that sound?
Stop with the Simon noises.
Sorry, I have to interact. I have to be a part of this.
Do you have to be a part of it?
I mean, I feel strongly like I should be a part of this. I mean, there's a lot of people talking.
And brother, you can be a part of it.
My demographic is not in any way. I feel like.
Simon, why don't you just take a fucking 5, all right? Take a fucking 5.
You know what? Whoa. I will take a fucking 5. But before I take a fucking 5, I have something to say. Fuck you, Brett. You know what? Calvin, I'll see you next week.
Have fun. Have fun.
I love watching.
Because you're fucking fired.
It's better than watching bums fight.
Don't try to find me after this, all right? I'm gonna be outside.
Serious question. Can you do the Ellen without Simon? Okay, cool. All right. I was scared for a second. So Bezos.
I think we should. Bezos has said that he's going to give away all of his money after he dies, and I think we should start now.
Oh, you would think that. You ever heard of little two words called Chairman Mao? Over 500 million people were killed in the Cultural Revolution. Look it up. That's the real number, right? 500 million.
They killed a lot of people.
A lot of Jeff Bezos. Don't you? You probably wish you could be a Jeff Bezos someday, don't you? No.
I'd rather keep my hair.
Because Americans aren't allowed to dream anymore. Oh, you'd rather keep your hair. You know how you keep your hair? You low T. That's why. Me? I got so much testosterone, took my hair right off, but I come solids.
That sounds wildly painful.
It is.
I just want to point this out. You guys say that you are the revolution. Whether it's a joke or not, I think there's some truth to it.
We are the revolution, Mr. Davis. And it's very important to realize the faces of the revolution, the ones with power, not the ones who chat into the microphone all day.
I just got to say, though, Calvin here is the one with the tattoo. Wait, what is that tattoo?
Oh, that's the lyrics from the second verse of Bro Hymn by Pennywise.
Okay.
It's about brotherhood and sticking together where men can be men together. You know, and I think today, you know, all these identity groups. You got your women groups. You got your ethnic groups. You know, you got your social groups. What about? There's no groups for men anymore. We don't take care of our veterans. Our veterans are spit on every day. We don't have Knights of Columbus. We don't have any lodges anymore. What are men supposed to do? But where do they go? Strip clubs. We go to strip clubs and we jerk all. How does that make women feel, huh? When we watch their sexy bodies rip it off. You know, I think this whole fucking it's just like women are it's like women drivers. All day. They're just driving a little too fast, then they're driving a little too slow, and then they're putting on their makeup, but I'm stuck in fucking traffic, and I'm sick of it. And if you're sick of it, you can join me in Amdram, the American Dreamers. Dreamers for America. Look us up on Facebook.
Okay, Brett, I don't think this is working because
I don't see what's wrong with
you're
what
here
just happened.
trying to satirize people who are much smarter than you and more talented. And you know what? So what if this show is flawed? You know, it's a scary world, and it's impossible to be funny and like always hit the mark. And you know, you've been in this weird, like 2-week meta multiple reality experiment on a show.
No,
the show is already way too complicated to begin with, and it'll likely never sell. And these shows are like the only reprieve people have from this onslaught of like really fucked up shit that happens outside of your little bubble. And you know what? If you're Brett, right? Why are you wearing that wig?
Like Calvin said, I have a lot of male testosterone, and I'm doing everyone a favor by. I don't want to be toxic.
And you know what? And fuck you. I didn't agree to be here with your racist bullshit.
I didn't want to do this.
Darren, don't break.
Fuck you too, then.
And it's a hairpiece.
Sure. Any final thoughts for the round table?
Does anybody have any weed?
Yeah, Darren, why don't you take 5 too? Yeah. Senator?
Yes?
Any final thoughts?
Yes, I would like to say thank you for giving me a platform. I needed another platform, and thank you for essentially silencing the 3 most intellectual people on this panel for the majority of this time. I think that's important, and it's a very good reflection on the current state of political discourse in America. You got to give people like me time. And of course, Sharron, of course, but mostly me. And I think that it's just troubling times, though. This is troubling times, though. And you got to just vote in the midterms for the Democrats alone. We will save you. We're so good at saving you.
I'm cutting you off.
Okay.
Sharon, any final thoughts?
No, I actually had a lovely time despite the nonsense.
Thank you. Chapo, any final thoughts? We've got 500 people watching. That's from now until, you know, it just kind of falls off of YouTube.
Just, you know, good luck to you.
No, say it. Virgil, say it.
All right. Buy the book.
Buy the book. Chapo Guide to Revolution. If we miss the mark tonight with our political satire, it's fine because this book makes all political satire obsolete. Relevant.
Come on the show. Go on Chapo, Senator.
If you got people that listen, I'll do it. I'll literally do anything you need. I am a whore for attention and money.
Well, I'd like to apologize in general, and I'd like to throw to our band one more time. Please welcome Youth Expire.
How much of my stuff Silent Barn was an inside job.